Good morning. Welcome to the virtual worship service of the Unitarian Universalist Meeting House of Provincetown. It is so good to be in community with you this morning. Tomorrow is Memorial Day, and so we take some time now to recognize and remember all those who have sacrificed their lives through military service. We honor those who put our collective safety above their own, and the families who mourn, and the complexity of what we have asked of those who serve. I know that for many of us, Memorial Day has sort of lost that deeper meaning and has come to be a day of celebration to mark the beginning of the summer season. It means outdoor barbecues and big sales and lines of traffic at the bridge. What's true is that both of those meanings are realities in our world, and that this year we aren't quite sure what tomorrow will bring as new phases of recovery are rolled out and tested. We humans are well practiced at holding multiple truths in our hearts. So this morning we hold it all. The grief and the sacrifice, the gratitude and the wrestling, the celebrations and the doubt, the fear and the hope. We even have some capacity left to live into the unknown. What we at the meeting house do know, though, is that we must honor the great sacrifices of those who keep us safe by not making unnecessary risks of our own. We want to keep you safe, and that is our first priority, no matter what the date or the season. So we will not be opening our sacred space at the meeting house at the first opportunity. We are willing to hang in there with this virtual worship a little longer, grateful for the ways it enables us to connect even while we can't be together. And as I light my chalice here in the sanctuary this morning, I invite you to light a candle wherever you are. And we do so today in honor of all those who have come before us, those who have lived and died to create the world we now live in.
This is Susan Cezanne,
and Paul Cezanne,
trying to light a candle
yeah,
in
sure.
Keene, New Hampshire.
Sure.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Bonnie.
And we are lighting a candle in Oakland Park,
Florida.
in Oakland Park, Florida.
This is Melissa, and I'm lighting this candle with Althea, and I'm in Provincetown.
This is Althea. And I'm lighting this candle with Melissa. And I'm in Milton.
Please join me in affirming our meeting house covenant. Love is the spirit of this meeting house. It is our great covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Our reading this morning is Blessing for the Brokenhearted by Jan Richardson. There is no remedy for love but to love more. Henry David Thoreau. Let us agree for now that we will not say the breaking makes us stronger, or that it is better to have this pain than to have done without this love. Let us promise we will not tell ourselves time will heal the wound, when every day our waking opens it anew. Perhaps for now it can be enough to simply marvel at the mystery of how a heart so broken can go on beating, as if it were made for precisely this, as if it knows the only cure for love is more of it, as if it sees the heart's sole remedy for breaking is to love still, as if it trusts that its own persistent pulse is the rhythm of a blessing we cannot begin to fathom, but will save us nonetheless. Here is a simple ritual developed by Reverend Naomi Washington Leapart, Director of Faith-Based and Interfaith Affairs for the City of Philadelphia. I am going to ring a bell 4 times. I ring the bell 1 time to memorialize those who have died. Over 330,000 people have died from COVID-19. We ring a bell to remember them, those whose names we know and those whose names we don't know. I'll ring the bell a 2nd time to remember that there are people right now in sickness and in recovery, people fighting to survive in hospitals and at home. So I ring the bell a 2nd time to acknowledge those who are sick. I ring the bell a 3rd time to remember all of those who are going to work, leaving the safety of their own home and showing up as first responders, as medical professionals and clinicians, showing up as grocery store attendants and transit workers, postal workers and chaplains, public servants, all those who are deemed essential workers during this time. Of course, they are essential and beloved to those who love them, but also right now to our society. They are keeping our society going. I'll ring the bell a 3rd time for them. And I'll ring the bell a 4th and final time because what we have seen in this moment is a cultivation of a kind of hope that we have not seen before. A kind of innovation, creativity, versatility, adaptability that our community has embraced in this COVID-19 moment. So I'll ring a bell a final time, just looking forward to the future, to what we will construct after the pandemic is over. We take this moment to remember, to call the names we know and to hold with tender care in our hearts all the names we don't know. Thank you.
Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the gentle night to you. Moon and stars pour their healing light on you. Deep peace to you. Deep peace to you.
Today's service is entitled Blessing for the Brokenhearted, borrowed from that poem by Jan Richardson. I think all of us are brokenhearted these days on different levels. Even those who are finding joy and meaning and possibility in this time are also broken open by the loss and the fear and the separateness of this moment. We humans are well practiced at holding multiple truths in our hearts. And isn't it amazing how a broken heart goes on beating? Jan says, "Let us agree that we will not say the breaking makes us stronger, or that it is better to have this pain than to have done without this love. We would all trade in heartache for joy, sickness for health, war for peace. We would all trade in this pandemic for the world we knew before, even if we have learned valuable lessons from this time, even if there are dolphins swimming in the Venice canals. I think it's important to hold and name both the heartache and the possibility of this time simultaneously, or at least in rotation on any given day. In any given hour, our emotions change so rapidly these days. We do not have to heal in order to love, thank goodness. And we do not have to wipe away our tears in order to see the glimmer of hope before us. All of this is part of the experience. And the heart's sole remedy for breaking is to love still, to trust its own persistent pulse. And time moves forward. After every virus, after every war, after every heartbreak, time moves forward with its own persistence. And slowly meaning grows. Not because all wounds have been healed, or because it is better to have loved and lost, or because we did things right, but because our hearts do keep beating and keep loving and keep integrating all of life's experiences. And because the persistent rhythm of blessing continues to wash over us and pulse through us. I am brokenhearted right now, but maybe one day, when I am quite old, my great nieces and nephews will ask to hear the story of this time. And I will pause a while, pondering which version of the story to tell, not wanting to remember it all, not wanting to glorify it either, or to make light of the sacrifices. But I will tell them the story, because they want to know and because they really ought to know. I'll choose the version by Tom Roberts a bedtime poem called The Great Realization. And I'll tell them the story. The story starts before the virus, in a world I once dwelled. It was a world of waste and wonder, of poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight's 2020. You see, the people came up with companies to trade across all lands, but they swelled and got bigger than we ever could have planned. We'd always had our wants, but now it got so quick. You could have everything you dreamed of in a day, and with a click. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke, but the meaning must have melted, and the work-life balance broke. And the children's eyes got squarer, and every toddler had a phone. They filtered out the imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. And every day the sky grew thicker, till we couldn't see the stars. So we flew in planes to find them, while down below we filled our cars. We'd drive around all day in circles. We'd forgotten how to run. We swapped the grass for tarmac, shrunk the parks till there were none. We filled the sea with plastic, 'cause our waste was never capped. Until each day when you went fishing, you'd pull them out already wrapped. And while we drank and smoked and gambled, our leaders taught us why it's best to not upset the lobbies, more convenient to die. But then, in 2020, a new virus came our way. The government reacted and told us all to hide away. But while we all were hidden, amidst the fear, and all the while, the people dusted off their instincts. They remembered how to smile. They started clapping to say thank you and calling up their mums. And while the car keys were gathering dust, they would look forward to their runs. And with the sky less full of planes, the earth began to breathe, and the beaches brought new wildlife that scattered off into the seas. Some people started dancing, some were singing, some were baking. We'd grown so used to bad news, but some good news was in the making. And so, when we found the cure and were allowed to go outside, we all preferred the world we found to the one we'd left behind. Old habits became extinct, and they made way for the new. And every simple act of kindness was now given its due. Why did it take a virus to bring the people back together? Well, sometimes you've got to get sick before you start feeling better. Now, lie down and dream of tomorrow and all the things that we can do. And who knows, maybe if you dream strong enough, some of them will come true. We now call it the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many. But that's the story of how it started and why hindsight's 2020. This Memorial Day, we honor the grief, the sacrifice, the loss of the past, but also of this time that we are in right now. And we also honor the hope We honor the heart's persistence. We honor the future. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow when the world is free. There'll be tears of laughter and peace ever after tomorrow. Just you wait and see. The shepherd will tend his sheep, the valleys will bloom again, and Johnny will go to sleep in his own little bed again. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover